a shop on the edge of town. Bottles bubbling, shades of brown. With a wink he'll sell you dreams. Potion man's got magic schemes. Potion man with your reasonable price, mixing spells and a pinch of spice. Magic scrolls if you're feeling bold, a wizard's heart, a story untold. Behind the counter his cauldron steams, a dash of hope, a pinch of dreams. He hums a tune as he brews the night, turning darkness into light. Potion man with your reasonable price, mixing spells and a pinch of spice. Magic scrolls if you're feeling bold, a wizard's heart, a story untold. He'll fix your luck with a crimson brew, or sell a scroll to make skies blue. In his hands the world takes form, a potion to weather any storm. Late at night when the shop is dim, he whispers secrets to the wind. Potion man with his careful art, brewing wonder straight from the heart. Potion man with your reasonable price, mixing spells and a pinch of spice. Magic scrolls if you're feeling bold, a wizard's heart, a story untold. Hey, hey.
Why, hello everyone, and welcome back to another live stream. I'm your hosting guide, Zollin Ironshield, here on Voice of the Rings. Today, my friends, I'm going to do a intro course, basically, on getting people into other Lord of the Rings games. So this is for two groups of people who are watching this later as a VOD or here live. And if you don't need it to and you're hanging out watching, I appreciate it. It's for two groups of people. It's mainly for brand new players who haven't really played any Lord of the Rings game and you're kind of like looking for a Lord of the Rings game to play. I'm going to kind of like walk you through some of my favorites because this is a Lord of the Rings channel. That's what I do here. And then also for the Rise to War players out there, the phone game that has sunsetted and they are closing that game. I know a lot of you are very disappointed, so I want to kind of put out a hand and show you guys. I want you for Lord of the Rings Online. Did you like the meme? I thought it was pretty good on the thumbnail. But anyway, we will get you into like teaching you some basics. This will be real basics, like where do you download the game, how you sign up, how you kind of like set up your interface a little bit for LOTRO. We're also going to cover a few other games that I want to explain right here at the beginning that are also really cool games you can get and play. A couple different genres of games. I know some of you are just phone game players, so, you know, I understand if other games aren't your thing on the PC or a PlayStation or Xbox or whatever. But again, the goal of this is to show you some other Lord of the Rings options to enjoy yourself. That is the goal of this stream today and this VOD later if you're watching as a video. So I hope that it works for both those reasons well. So anyway, welcome everybody. I think, I do not know, forgot if I have my chat set up correctly for, nope, not that one. Well, there's a YouTube chat. No one's on Twitch right now, so we're okay. Hello everybody, hello, welcome to the stream, Lord Kev. All right, Mark, oh, I'm so glad the videos are helpful. That's wonderful. Thunder, hello, Reb. Hello everyone. What's up? XO, hello, welcome to the stream, you guys. All right, so again, a couple different things today. First thing off, what we're going to do in this stream is I'm going to talk you through the different games that I think would be good for you guys. So again, there are a couple genres of Lord of the Rings games that are really fun. Again, there's not really any other good phone games. It seems like all Lord of the Rings phone games have died in the last few years. Maybe that's just not a thing. Maybe Lord of the Rings gamers just don't like Lord of the Rings phone games. I don't think that's the reason. Rise to War had plenty of players and money. It was, I think, possibly a copyright issue. I talked about that in my other thing. I'm about 90% sure that's what it is, and they probably either couldn't get the rights or the rights were just so astronomically expensive that they just couldn't afford it to get the rights again. Who knows? I think it's the first one. I think that they probably couldn't get the rights again for Rise to War. Though they should have told us why, because that was really not cool to the Rise to War players to just leave us hanging on, yeah, bye, good day. Why are you guys closing? Like, what happened? So anyway, the goal of this is to have a fun way to get yourself started into other games. So again, there are a couple main games right off the top of my head. I'm going to tell you what's good, what's what. There's a couple genres, all right? So we have, again, for our action games, kind of like Assassin's Creed, obviously Shadows of Mordor, and it's a really, really good series, and Shadow of War is the second game. Those are really good. I'll show you real quick on Steam for a second. Those are really, really fun. We're not going to go into those games a ton on this because those games are pretty simple. Install, play. It's pretty self-explanatory. It's a solo type of game. It's not multiplayer, but it's really, really fun. Lore is not super accurate, but it's really funny and hilarious and fun to play. It's a really good game. So that's great if you like your own solo assassin-y type killing and controlling orc armies. That's a really fun one. Okay, that's one. The next one is a good RTS, is the Battle for Middle-earth. You've probably heard of it. It's a long time game, but you're probably thinking, well, Zollin, I can't buy that game anymore. Disc and it doesn't even work. Well, there is a lot of a modding community that does a really good job. I have a guide video on that here on the channel. It's awesome. I'm going to show you the all-in-one patcher and show you how it works a little bit. But again, I have a guide video that's real short and concise, 10 minutes. That'll guide you on how to play that. And you can play all the modded versions, 1, 2, the expansions. And it's really fun. It's awesome. So that's another great game. If you're someone that wants to, you can play multiplayer with that because they have it set up where you can make an online account even. So that's pretty cool. The next one that is really, really good is the Return to Moria, right? One of the most fun, it's a survival game genre. It is where you get to battle your dwarves. You get to go through the story. You can build. It has a little bit of like a Valheim feel to it, but really it comes down to it's very its own standalone game. It's really fun. It has a brand new expansion coming out at the time of me posting this. I'll be reviewing it over the next week. It's called the Durin's Folk is the new expansion for the Return to Moria game. Do not be confused by the fact that, like, you know, Lord of the Rings Online, they made a comment that, like, oh, we're returning to Moria. That is the case. They were doing that in the MMO, but this is talking about a separate game. Return to Moria is a separate standalone game. Really fun. You can have up to 8 players with your friends. Consoles can host up to 4. PCs can host up to 8. And 8, it could be 7 other consoles with a PC hosting. And it's really, really fun. Absolutely a blast. The biggest thing is, like, the replayability. But I think the new expansion might solve that issue. Especially with combat. The combat's really good in the game, and I feel like there's not enough options to use that combat, and I think they're adding that in now. So that's really exciting. So that's a really good game. Return to Moria, big, you know, S+, super fun game to play with your friends and to play solo. So there's another option. The next one, of course, is there's going to be 2 other ones I'm going to throw in here just on top. There is the Tales of the Shire. It's a cozy game genre if you like that. Personally, I think that it was alright. I think that it doesn't really have as much replayability as other cozy games have, what I've seen. Again, I only played about 16 hours. Only 16 hours. But I just felt that it could be really fun for some people. I have 2 or 3 people that I know on the channel, and 1 or 2 friends that I talk with who did really like it and played it a lot more than me. So if you're someone who really likes the cozy game stuff and hobbits, Tales of the Shire might be a good one to check out. But again, you can go watch my review videos on that for the details if you want to see more about that. The other one, of course, there is the Gollum game, as it's called. This game, sadly, was kind of a complete flop in the last 2 years. I would recommend not playing that game. It's really bad. If you can get it for like $2 maybe, sure, try it out. But you're going to be falling through holes randomly in the ground that were not supposed to be there. No, they are not holes dug by dwarves or goblins. They are digitally created glitches in the game, so you can watch my series on that and my pain. But yeah, anyway, so that's a little, you know, mention. It's not really an honorable mention, it's more like a mention, just throwing that out there. Then we've got there are technically other dwarf games, obviously, I can tell you about on this channel. The Dwarves, by the way, is a genre of game made back in 2016. It's actually a really fun game. It's not Lord of the Rings, but just, that's an honorable mention. That's a good one. So then we're going to talk about the Lord of the Rings Online. This is the big one, all right? This is the one that I really want to invite you guys all to come play. It's super fun. If you are going to play and you'd like to play on an NA server, North America, and you want to play with me and my kinship, we're on the server Glamdring, the Foehammer, Gandalf's sword, okay? Make sure everyone knows that, right? Glamdring! Okay? So that's the server we're on, so no one gets confused. The automated thing, I had 2 friends the other day who both picked Grand, which is a cool server. It's a European server, and they're in NA, so they didn't realize that. But keep that in mind. So if you're in Europe, Orcrest is the really big population one. Glamdring's a really big population in North America. But the other 2 also have good populations. For North America, it's Peregrine and Sting. And for Europe, it is Meriadoc and Grand is the newer one. Orcrest is quite a bit over capacity from what I know, even though it has a great community too. It's definitely the most players on a server, but again, it serves all of Europe, so that's probably why. But yeah, so anyway, that is it. And if you guys have questions, by the way, I'd love to answer them. I will answer them live in this. I know this is going to be a VOD later to help other people too, but your question might help someone else later. So Thunder has a few RTS type games online. Yes, does anyone have a question for me, or you guys, if you're just chatting with each other, that is just fine. I'm always happy to have everyone chat with each other in the live stream as well. Figuring out how to get the Battle for Middle-earth into some kind of online service system, but I don't know if it's possible. So the Battle for Middle-earth does have their own online system with the mod community in the video I cover. So they absolutely do have that. No, it's okay, Thunder. But it's hard to pick up and play flexible segments. Yeah, the Battle for Middle-earth can be a little bit challenging because games can be, it's more of that older genre where games are kind of aimed to be between like 40 minutes and an hour, where I feel like in today's age, games are aimed to be like 20 to 30 minutes, right? We see that, this is not, I'm not going to go into this very long, okay? But like League of Legends, back in the day when I first played it, it's not Lord of the Rings, but games were about 45 minutes to an hour. They've really pushed them down to like 25 minutes to like 35, maybe 40. They've really condensed how the game plays because that's just kind of like the culture in general of gaming. People like to play shorter sessions most of the time. Not with everybody, but a lot of people like that. I technically like to sometimes leave a whole hour open and do some long form thing like Age of Empires, right? Or Battle for Middle-earth. A whole hour game, right? But anyway, with that, I'm going to go ahead and walk you through some stuff. So I'm going to go to the other screen. So here we go. Let me switch real quick here. All right, sorry guys, took me a second there, but let me bring up my Steam. Now, let us look over some stuff here. So again, there's a bunch of games. Now, another honorable mention would be Deep Rock Galactic. It's not Lord of the Rings, but it's a dwarf game, and it's really, really fun. Highly recommend that. But let's go ahead and just look at a few things. Again, the other honorable mention was The Dwarves. This game is fantastic. It's really, really fun. I really recommend that one. Again, Deep Rock Galactic, honorable mention for another cool game you can play. But let's talk about, like, Return to Moria, all right? Return to Moria is an absolutely great game. It's super, super cheap. So I don't know how they make it so cheap, but they sell the game, I think that the regular price is $35 US. It goes on sale a lot, too, and they're, like, little mini packs are, like, really, really reasonably priced. You know, Potion Man would be proud, right? There's a meme on my channel, if you're new to the channel, about Potion Man. You'll find out sooner or later if you heard the song at the beginning. But the you know, they do these little $5 like special things like DLCs with like extra gear and building materials and stuff. Really cool, very reasonable prices. And I can't say reasonable prices without thinking about Potion Man now. But this is really cool. So I'm going to bring up Return to Moria for a minute. So let's pretend you are going to like start a Return to Moria campaign. All right. So we're going to go into some guide parts here of the video now. Unless you have a direct question, I will ask. But let me go ahead and click for you here on this. Should I stop and do a side quest at the start or just the main story? Brad Shank says, are you talking about LOTRO? Let me bring up the chat. I don't know why I hit it there. Yes, it just depends on what you want to do in LOTRO. You can just do the main quest, but a lot of times main quests will lead you to new areas in LOTRO, and then you'll work on the quests around the main quest there. You'll do them all, and then you'll continue with the main quest to the next area. That's usually the way I recommend with LOTRO. But let me go over Return to Moria for a second, and then I'm going to go over LOTRO. All right? Return to Moria we're going to be covering a lot this week, but basically, when you get Return to Moria, turn it on, push play. I'm going to let you see the intro because it's really cool, and I'm hoping my sound works for it here. We'll find out in a second. I think I had it all set up ahead. We're good. We're good. So again, North Beach Games is the one that runs this, and this giant rooster. Free range games. Let's listen to this.
Our story is more than what hobbits and elves know. It is time we told it ourselves.
And yes, the voice actor is John Rhys Davis, Gimli from Peter Jackson. Smokies. Throw that out there. So if you want a cool genre, you can play solo or with some of your friends. We have a dedicated service here in the community we play too. But obviously this game is built for like tight, probably like groups of 4 to 8 people.
With hammer and axe, we cleanse the world from the shadow of the ring and its master. Yet we dwarves celebrate as a scattered people, cut off from our one true home.
Yeah, they're really good games.
Across Middle-earth, we mine and scout, delving for riches, yet the greatest treasure remains out of our reach. Moria. Durin built it before the first sun rose, and through the ages, when darkness threatened our great kingdom, he awoke to lead us again, until the Balrog took it all away. That was 1,000 years ago, and Durin the Deathless has not returned. Some say, be patient. I say, we wait no longer. It is time to journey from every mountain. Come, rally together. Bring your axes and tools, craft and courage. It is time. We dwarves return to Moria.
So, this is a really good game. Very highly recommend. So all the games I'm showing you today on this list, by the way, I do play and I review and cover on this channel and have guides for and all that stuff. But again, this is like a really beginner's streaming video today. So pretty much when you first come into the game, just so you guys aren't quite lost, I'm just going to explain a few basic things to you real fast, okay? First thing is you click play, all right? You go in, you're going to create a character. Once you've created the character is different from the world seed. A character can travel to many different world seeds, okay? That means the same map, but duplicate different dimensions, right? From different people that have the map. So the map is recorded separately in the data files from your character in his storage, which means, yes, he can carry stuff from one world to another by putting in his bag, logging out, and then logging him into a different world, okay? So that's how that works, just for those who've never really played a game like this. That's a real basic information, but very helpful if you don't know. So when you click on the name to launch in, and this is where you create the world. Now there are technically like 3 or 4 different kinds of things. Really for you, there's only going to be 2. There's pretty much going to be, when you create a world, you're going to create either campaign or sandbox. Campaign is the main story, and the world looks very linear how the game works, and there's the same every single time you do the campaign. The rooms are the same, everything's the same. There actually is 1 or 2 big rooms that you have in this that isn't in the sandbox. But the sandbox is like randomized, so there's like secrets to be found and rooms that aren't usually there, and like it like randomizes it to a bit. Like not 100%, but it really randomizes it for a little bit more randomness, whatever you want to help you enjoy yourself. You can like switch up with seed by re-rolling and then launch if you have a specific seed world you like, or whatever. Create the campaign and then you'll launch your character, right? If you want to go back and join another one, you say load world, you choose your world, and you play either offline if you're playing solo, or if you're going to host online. Let's say I'm going to host my online world, I would go host, and then it would give you a code, and you can send this to your friends, and they would put that code, so you know where. You go back, and they would join another world, and they would put the code right here. Okay? So that's how that works. Those are the 2 kinds of worlds. Now, you can see right here, there's another session dedicated world here. Dedicated worlds, I'm using a third-party thing that they set up with Notrado. I have a guide video on that if you want to watch. That's real short, talking about how to save your files with Notrado. I don't have a guide video really setting up Notrado, but it's not super complicated. But if you want to pay for something to host it so that your computer doesn't have to be one hosting it constantly, because basically if you log off as the main host, everybody else gets kicked and the game world shuts off. right? So that's how that works. That's how it functions. All right. So those are the basics for you guys on how the game functions. And then also there is another like fourth thing they've added where you could have a background program you install that can host the game, and your computer, as long as it's on, will run it, but it won't have the game up on the screen. That's a little bit more of a complicated side thing, but it's good for some people. If you know more about computers, you can do that with stuff. So anyway, this is again Return to Moria. So I'm gonna go ahead and just load into a world so you can kind of just see. I'll just play offline on this one. So you click play, launch. I'm gonna play offline. It's gonna do a little loading thing in the bottom corner behind here. You can't see it. There's a little hammer and anvil. Tink, 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 tink. See? Alright, so again, this is what the game kind of looks like. It's how it feels. I had tons of videos on this game and streams, so I'm not going to go into it more than 30 seconds here. But this is the basics. If you go into options, you can always go to difficulty mode. It's a little different if you're using a third-party system. You need to set this up ahead. But if you're playing a solo game or a game with your friends hosted by your computer, you can literally change the difficulty of the game right here. I have a guide video on what these do, but pretty much you can change stuff right here within the settings, literally in real time, which is really, really cool. And then you also have a free cam thing where you can like actually like go out and like look at your world and like zoom in and out and take photos and stuff, which is pretty darn cool. The game looks amazing. This game is really cool. I wish more games had this free cam thing. This is freaking awesome. So anyway, the game is really fun. It's still kind of loading. This area is a huge base that we built back in the day. Yes, it's still alive, guys. I know. It looks like, you know what? It kind of looks like some stuff got destroyed with some update things. But yeah, so anyway, it's a really, really cool game. Highly recommend Return to Moria. Alright, if you guys have no other questions for Return to Moria for newer players, no one's here for that. Maybe you're watching this later as a video, you can leave a comment, I'll try to answer it. We're going to go ahead and leave world. Alright, and then again, this is where you just log into another world with your character. Keep in mind, if you log into a brand new world with really good stuff, sometimes it'll give all that info to someone else, which some people don't want to be spoiled on the newer gear or whatever. So if you have a new friend playing, you might want to take off your good gear, leave it at one of your worlds, and be careful. Be careful not to lead a world with your stuff. Alright, so anyway, that is Return to Moria. There's my little quick review of Return to Moria. Again, really fun game, really, really awesome. Again, the next ones that I wanted to talk about is, we're not going to launch these because they're taking longer to start, but again, the Shadows of Mordor is the first game, right, I believe? Yeah, and then the Shadows of War, all right? These are, again, like an Assassin's Creed type game. I always use that term. I guess if you've never played Assassin's Creed, that doesn't help you. Basically, the goals of these games is you're kind of assassin-y. You can, like, go in stealth. You have, like, these ring wraith powers, and you can, like, control other orcs and, like, bend them to your will, and your whole goal is you're, like, trying to oppose Sauron as, like, this ranger that's half a ring wraith, half a ranger. I don't want to give you spoilers on the story. If you play it, it's a really fun story still, even though it's crazy and out there, and for some reason, like, Shelob and Sauron have a thing, which is weird, because Shelob is, like, turned into a humanoid. That's not in the lore, guys. I'm just throwing that out there. But anyway, besides that, it's really good. We're very PG on this channel, so we won't comment on that. There's nothing, I don't think there's anything, though, in it that's, like, inappropriate in this game, besides very gory, because you're, like, stabbing orcs in the head and blood's going everywhere. Okay, so definitely not a game I'd recommend for children. All right, this is an adult game, at least like 15 up, 16 up. All right, but yeah, so these are fun games. These are like really, really fun. They're just fun to play. They're like really action-oriented, battling, you know, fun. You can't build anything like Return to Moria. Return to Moria's combat is very survival combat, which I really like Return to Moria's. But again, really, really fun game. Highly recommended if you don't play it. Okay, I don't even know if I play all these games. Sometimes I add games to play and then I never play them. They're like free. So Really fun. Hey, another honorable mention. Deep Rock Galactic survival game mode. This is different game. It's pretty fun. It's a fun game. So Bannerlord. It's not Lord of the Rings, but I just gotta throw it out there in this video. Bannerlord they've been working on some modders have been working on a Lord of the Rings mod for this game for like 5 years. I would really like to cover it on this channel. When it's officially out, I will probably cover it on this channel because I like this game and the mod looks amazing. So it's like a fully redone like map of Middle Earth mod for the game. It looks crazy. So anyway, with that, the honorable, or not honorable, of course, there is this game, the Gollum game, and as you can see here, I did play almost 20 hours of it. I played through the whole story. I don't think many people got through the whole story. But I did. I was very perseverant on this one. But I don't recommend buying this game. I still think it's on Steam to buy, and I still think it's $60, which is insane to me because it's barely worth 10. Yeah, so if you get a sale, it's like $4 or something, you want to try it, that's probably worth it. But yeah, just keep that in mind. I don't even know why I have it installed. I just have a really big drive, so I just leave things installed. And then try to remember my other thing. There's one other thing in Steam I want to show you guys. Technically, I have a couple Lord of the Rings things. Oh, you know what I didn't put on my thumbnail that I should have? Lego Lord of the Rings. Like, I think most of you probably know about this, but even for adults, Lego Lord of the Rings is freaking awesome. This game is awesome. All right, so if you're a Lego fan and Lord of the Rings, and you like a couple funny things and some fun gameplay with maybe your kids, or you just want to play with your friends, and you guys are, you just want to play, right? Fun game. This is an awesome, awesome game. So, this is a definite big yes. Really, really good game. We also have this old game, The Lord of the Rings, The War in the North. I don't think you can buy this on Steam now, so I shouldn't even show you this. I got this a long time ago on Steam, and people have told me they can't find it on Steam now. So I guess they don't sell it anymore. This was a cool game back in the day. It's very, very old, and you can tell when you play it, but it feels really fun to play still. And I do have a couple videos of it on the channel. There's also some other cool honorable mentions of games back in the day, like The Third Age, the GameCube and console games, The Two Towers, Return of the King. Those are all like amazing games as well. Those are different genres, but we're not going to talk about those because you can't really get those easily. So, and I can't really get those easily for your Journey. This is actually technically like a card game adaptation thing. And then, of course, Tales of the Shire. That's the other one I was thinking of. Tales of the Shire. I think Tales of the Shire is a little bit pricey for what it is, personally, in the price. But I still think it's a fun game. I rated it on the channel, and I can see why for people who like cozy games, this would be something you'd really like. I am not a cozy game genre player. That's just not really my thing. My cozy game is like Medieval 2 Total War and like Sid 5 or whatever that one is. Sid Meier's Civilizations. Like, those are my cozy games. Easy battle games that I know really well. But, or Lord of the Rings Online, when I want to just chill and walk around. Those are my cozy games. But again, this is a fun game if you want to check it out, but I think it's a little pricey, so I think you probably wait for a sale, personally, for what I think. Okay, so with that, I want to show you something about Battle for Middle-earth real fast, and then for the rest of the video, we're going to get into LOTRO for the rest of the stream, okay? The all-in-one launcher. I'm going to go ahead and pop it up here, see what pops up on the screen. Oh, it popped up on my other screen. Here it is. All right, so this is something you can download. Now, LOTRO, YouTube's a little funny about things, so I can't show you exactly where to get it. Those other games I was showing you, they're all on Steam. You all probably know how to download a game from Steam. I'm not going to show you that, sorry. I have a guide video on this, and it sends you to I believe I put it on my Rumble channel, which I don't use very often, but I do throw on, like, certain guides that I know YouTube's algorithm will be weird about, or their bot system. So this game is obviously a really fun game. You have all these options of mods on all of them, and all these things you can get, and it's all like one click, and you only have to download this. It takes like a few minutes, and then it probably takes like 10 minutes to update, just because their servers are a little slower, because again, you could donate to them, help them or whatever, but I don't say either way on who I support, what I support, right, on that. But I really think they did a really good job with this, and it's really, really fun. And you can click these and you can play them. So like, here's the, like, for example, vanilla version is activated, so you just left click this. It will switch the activation from vanilla. It does some file computing updates, and it switches it over to the Battle for Middle-earth 1.06. Or I could play the 1.09 version, right? It's just really, really cool. So I click play, and then it just launches the game. It's that simple. It's really nice. Now, you cannot play the Age of the Ring mod. If you are a fan of the Age of the Ring mod, you can't play that with this one, because they did their own separate standalone thing, which I was going to make a video with. So I will have that up on the channel sooner or later. But I do have this one, and this one is great. You can play all the original games. So and then a bunch of the mods. You can play the Edain mod, the I can show you. But again, if you've never played this game, it's really fun. There is a whole story, good campaign, evil campaign for the second game and the first game. And there's a War of the Ring mode, which is like a map campaign mode. And it's just really fun, which, by the way, this is what Rise to War reminded me of, because this is older, right? And you can still play this. But this is very similar to kind of how Rise to War broke up their regions, if you remember, for my Rise to War players. The phone game. But, yeah, anyway, it's just really, really cool. Really fun game. This is kind of what the game looks like. I'll just enter a skirmish so you kind of know what it looks like. All right? Let's load a skirmish, just so you can get the gist of the feel of the game. Again, RTS, all right? Real-time strategy game. Everything happens in real time. So this is kind of what the game looks like. Again, the game is very old, but these have been modded, so they look much better. Their textures and graphics compared to what they used to look. And then this is the second game. The first game plays differently, but you can play both with this all-in-one patcher. So depending on what you like with which mods, or the first game, second game, or the expansion Witch King, which again is they kind of mod through the expansion Witch King, most of the second game modders. But yeah, that's kind of what the game looks like. And then there's combat and battle, and the voice actors in this game are awesome. Fun fact, a lot of the voices in this game, obviously these aren't the heroes, but if you bring out a hero like Gimli, I'm pretty sure it's still John Reed Davis. I think he voiced this too, and I think all of the Hobbit actors voiced their characters in this, and like Elrond, Hugo Weaving, right? Is that his name? Yeah. I'm not great with actors' names. Okay, the only actors' names I know are like some Lord of the Rings actors, right? Like Ian McKellen and Sean Astin and you know Elijah Wood. Like that's it. Not good with actors' names. Alan Rickman, Snape, R.I.P. One of my favorite actors of all time. But anyway, honorable mentions. Bernard Hill, we'll miss him. Okay, so anyway, this is a great game, so highly recommend. Okay, if you want to check this out. And again, the game has been the original owners were EA a long time ago, and they have not had access and rights to it for 15 years. They got rid of it basically. So the only way to play that is through the modded stuff. You can't get that with a CD or anything, unfortunately. So the last thing, we're now going to go into LOTRO. We're going to pretend like, hold on. I need to bring up a LOTRO page here. So the first thing you're going to do if you're playing LOTRO, so I'm going to go into this really basic, okay, as a brand new player for LOTRO. Yes, it's Battle for Middle-earth. Is it kind of like Age of Empires? Yes, Battle for Middle-earth is kind of like Age of Empires. It was that whole time of genres where they had like Age of Empires, and they had Star Wars Saga, Battle for Middle-earth. Those games all were coming out at the same time. It was like the golden age for RTS games, really, is what it was. It's literally the best term. I mean, I've never heard someone say it like that, but it's pretty much, I'm sure, what people say. It's the golden age for RTSs. What's up? Yeah, it's really, really fun. Battle for Middle-earth is fun, and we could play together. In the future, I might do more events where a couple of us can play together with Battle for Middle-earth if you have the all-in-one patcher. All right, so pretty much go to www.lordoftheringsonline.com. This one right here. All right, and this is their main page. And not to get confused how you play, okay? If you already have an account, you could always download the game by just clicking download. But what you do is click play for free, the button right at the top. You will make your account. I don't even know if... I think they make you verify it with email. I'm not sure. I don't think they do, actually. But you need to have a valid email, all that stuff, and sign up for whatever you want. And then it will send you to the next page to download. If not, you could always go to the little button up here that says go back to LOTRO.com. It's a very small button at the top. There's definitely some things about this site that probably need to be updated, I think. But they do a good job. They updated this recently, this whole banner up here, and it looks very nice. Here on this site, by the way, just fun information. You can always come here for news on their stuff. I cover a lot of these occasionally on my channel here too for you guys, where I'll do my LOTRO update playlist, and I'll make you an update for something if it's really big or important. Like I really covered the updates on the Hunter and Burglar stuff in detail. Well, spent like so many hours doing that. I don't want to do that again. But we covered a lot of that in that video. I did a lot. The free questing coupon, by the way, this is now over. I just don't want anyone to be misunderstand. This is through November 3rd. I talked about this with a bunch of you guys over the last couple months. Hopefully you got it. If you didn't, I'm sorry, but maybe they'll do something like that again in the future. But that was a very cool thing they did for a while. Gave a bunch of free stuff. This game is doing great, by the way, Lord of the Rings Online. Just because we're talking about the Rise to War Who Sunsetted, I just want to point out, Lord of the Rings Online, I know from the devs, have gotten they got a redone on their copyright, so they can be doing the game for many years. From Middle-earth Enterprises, and Middle-earth Enterprises said this game is great. We know that people love it, and we are letting you keep your rights to this game. So, Lord of the Rings Online, we have many years left of this game. I really think it's a really fun game. I think it's fun. It's a tab targeting style MMO. We'll get into it in a minute, but we'll get to there when we get there. Forms. This is you get asking questions, basic stuff. They do have a Discord, an official Discord now too, that their media manager Cordovan has set up. I think it's senior media. I forget the title, but yeah. Current expansions, you can get stuff here, and this is where you could buy more expansions and stuff. Let me just start with saying that just get the game first. You can play up to level 95 for free. Now, that stuff, which is like 500 plus hours of gameplay. So just start with free to play. If you're really enjoying the game, then I recommend doing a monthly subscription, because for some reason, at least for USA, I've heard it's different for other countries, the subscription is still only $15 a month. If you buy the 3-month pack, it's less than $10 a month if you buy 3 months at a time. That's what I do. That's what I recommend people do. You can buy it and then cancel it, and you'll have those 3 months and VIP. It's convenience. It gives you more stuff past level 95 that you can do, all the way up to the newest expansions. You'll just have like the newest expansions for like certain instances and raid locations. Again, if you're brand new to this kind of stuff, you probably don't know what that means. We'll talk about that a little bit more. But basically, it's really cool. We're getting into the story of the Kingdoms of Harad, which, by the way, is totally what I said they should call it. I'm sure it's not because of me, but great minds think alike. I was like, they should call it Kingdoms of Harad, and that's what they called the expansion. I said that about 9 months ago. So, anyway, very excited. The expansion comes out in December. It's a great time to get into LOTRO. It's going to be so much fun. We have brand new servers. Things are getting better and better with stuff, and it's just a fantastic time to play LOTRO. Yeah, so again, come play with us on Glamdring if you'd like to, and if you're a European player and you want to risk it and try to play on Glamdring, we have a bunch of European players who play with us. They seem to be okay with ping, but, it's up to you. You could also check out the European servers, but we can't play with you then, But there's lots of people in Europe that will play with you. big communities on both sides. But we invite everyone, Europe and North American players, to come play with us on Glamdring on our kinship if you'd like to. All right, so with that all out of the way, I've said 3 times. That means we're moving on. We are going to go into how do you download the game. You click the download button, right, and it's going to bring you to a page here, and you can select PC download. They do have a version, I believe, that's set up. I think how you have to do it for Mac is my one officer plays on a Mac. So if you really would like to know how to do the Mac version or set something up to play on the Mac, I'm sure he'd be happy to help, Mr. Hammer. So you could always go join my Discord and ask for questions there if you'd like to know. But you just download it here. You'll download it, boom, and once you have it downloaded, then you're going to bring it up, all right? And you're going to get this little thing. And I need to explain this because I think this throws people off constantly when they play LOTRO. I think it's really important. It is doing an update for a second. Let me let it finish updating because I'd like to remove my information here. All right. So you get this little box, right? Classic little login box. There's a couple different buttons, right? You could always click on whatever their advertisement is if you want to pre-purchase, blah, blah, blah. Bring it up. Community tab. All right. Jump to that community page. Support. You can do tickets. This account button is different than other things. This account button links you straight to a sign-in that's like a very different looking account. And it's like this official account that you sign into, and you can see your details of what your account has with expansions and stuff like that, as well as, I believe, doing payments. But now you can do all that payment stuff through the game, through the LOTRO store for your subscription. You used to have to always go through this. So you'll probably never have to click on this button. All right? Next thing. Username, putting your username and password you made up on the main page, right? You make sure it's a good password. Put that in. Log in, right? You got all your little information things here. They got their little updates they put here, right? It's that simple. Once you log in, let me go ahead and do login over here on the side for a second, and then I will show you. All right, put your ridiculously long password in, Zollin. Okay, there we go. All right, you come up to this page. This is the important page. Before you click play, when you log in, okay, as a new player, this is where you're going to need to choose your server. It's probably going to generically throw you at the top with either Grand or Sting because they're the newer servers with the lower population. They do have people that play in them. They are good servers, okay? This is never me. I support all the Lord of the Rings online servers, okay? Some people think I'm like Jav Adam. I'm not. I'm just telling you as the content creator, I'm trying to explain to you how things work, all right? Again, you can go through here and kind of see everything. They don't explain as much. Basically, the ones that don't have EU after them are NA servers. Glamdring, Sting, Peregrine. And Peregrine is a roleplay server. They do not enforce roleplay, like force you to do role-playing and stuff. Just throwing that out there. But that one's encouraged more for people who want to do role-playing. Now, keep in mind, for my kinship, we still occasionally have fun. We'll do some role-playing, right? But we don't do like hardcore 24/7 role playing, right? We're having fun just talking and playing the game too. But Peregrine is a great server as well. And then for EU, you have the options again. Orchrist is going to be the largest, and then you have Meriadoc, which is the EU roleplay server, kind of like Peregrine is for NA, and then Grand is the new EU server that they made, Grand and Sting, to kind of when they realized they're like. The new servers, they've re-updated the servers drastically. We have brand new server banks. They've just been set up in the last less than a year. Everything was in New Jersey. And basically, for those who are curious on this, they were split. The European servers who were in North America at the time are now in Amsterdam. They're actually in Europe for Europe players. And then the other ones went to Las Vegas, Nevada, I believe, is where the new servers are for North America. So brand new server buildings, all this stuff, which is why when people tell me comments like, I don't think LOTRO's it's lasting. You don't put in hundreds and hundreds of $1,000s buying new server banks thinking the game is not good investment for the next 10 years, okay? Just throwing that out there. But not that that's really important, but, some common sense there, right? Common logic. Also, you have Angmar and Mordor. Angmar is NA. Mordor is EU. What are those, you might ask? They are the legendary servers. They are progression servers. They also have a special mechanic with these Nazgul that attack you, blah, blah, blah. They are cool. I would not recommend them for brand new players. I recommend brand new players should play on a real classic server. Again, I recommend Glamdring, especially for NA players, or if you just wouldn't play with us on my kinship. All right, so then you click play. If you have old characters and you used to play like 5 years ago, 6 years ago, and you're like, hey, Zollin, I haven't played in a while, but how do I get those characters? They reopened all the worlds as dark worlds. You can go and click the transfer button, okay? And I believe, I think I can just click it here, right? And show you guys. Let me just double check, see if it opens up. What information opens up? It does. Okay, so it opens up the transfer button, and if you notice, there's a bunch of other worlds here. A lot of these now are dark worlds, okay? Which means they are dead. You cannot log into them, but you can get your stuff off them. They're going to leave them open for 2 years. This is why the devs of LOTRO are awesome. Like, what company have you heard that takes the time to move a bunch of servers and hold them open for 2 years for people? That's like non-existent. Game companies just don't seem to care about their players that much anymore. So, compliment to LOTRO. So you can go through here, Treebeard, all these ones are now dead worlds. You could choose one. So let's say I'm like, oh, I have some characters on Arkenstone, which, by the way, these are all placeholder characters. I'm not transferring these. But you go next. You then choose all the characters you want to transfer. I recommend doing select all because you want to transfer all your stuff if you have any. Make sure you do your shared storage items too. You say next, and then you would choose what world do you want to go to. All right? This is for people who need to transfer. Most of you aren't going to have to do this. You can skip this step, right? If you're brand new. But then you would choose Glamdring in our case. Now, keep in mind, if you do not have the option, and it's only giving you the European options, that's because you used to play on a European server, and European servers cannot transfer for free or any characters from a European server to an NA server. So if you only have the European options for your old characters, I hate to break it to you, you have to go to one of the European servers, and vice versa, right? If you wanted to, you know, if you only have the American option, you want to go to the European server. So if you do, you pick Glamdring if you want to play with us or one of the other 2 servers for NA, and vice versa for European servers. And by the way, you can still transfer your guys. Let's say you're someone who wants to still get their guys to save them off the Dark World so they don't get deleted in 2 years, right? Transfer them to a European server still, so they're not deleted forever. And then you can come over to Glamdring and make a character anyway if you want to play with us, right? There's nothing wrong with having characters on all servers, right? It just means you can't cross stuff between them. So you say Glamdring, you check if everything is good, from Arkenstone to Glamdring, free, confirm. It would be done. I am not going to confirm that because I don't want those transferred to my account. And again, remember, you could just click on any of these. Every time you log in, you could switch to any server by here and clicking. So I'm going to go ahead and click play now on Glamdring, and we're going to launch into Glamdring. Okay? So I hope that helps brand new players or people getting into the game with some basic info. Again, you can skip the whole transfer part of this if you're a brand new player. You just log in, choose the right server you want to play on. If you want to play with us, Glamdring, choose it, play. Now we're in the next part. Now we're at the part that everyone should be at, okay? If you're going to be playing LOTRO. All right, let's make sure my sounds are on. They sure are. So you're going to see we have sounds here. All right. And also, let me make sure to, turn off something in the background here. So, first things first. Hold on. I'm just going to turn off this so we don't have any sound effects in the background. All right. So, can you guys can hear LOTRO probably very loud right now, right? There we go. Too loud. Okay. All right, so here's the music. This is the login page. So you're not going to see any characters when you first log in, all right? So here's the real basics. This is, again, real basics for brand new players. You're going to click New Character. All right? You're going to go through here. I have guide videos. I have things talking about this, so I won't take a ton of time. But you're going to choose your class on the right side, which are kind of covered up by the chat. But you're going to choose your class that you want to play. You're going to choose your race you want to play, whether you want to be male or female, okay? And then you can set up your character for the first time. Again, this is the part of the thing where people are asking, what's meta? What should I play? I really think you should play what you think is fun. Try a class, try a race, play it in game for an hour or 2, see if you like how it feels. Usually by about level, I feel like 15 or 20, you'll really get the feel of a class. By 50, you for sure will, because you'll have most of their skills by 50. There are differences in adjustments once you get higher level that feel a little different, but yeah. Also, I need to turn the music down a little bit more. Awesome music and all, but yeah, really cool music. Also, composer that did most of the music in this game, not all of it, but most of it, had him on the channel. It's really a fun interview if you want to check out the Inklings playlist on the channel later. here. Okay, so so pretty much you'd make a character, right? Let's say you want to make a captain, right? You wanted to make a, you know, a man captain. Now some things are going to be blocked for you as a brand new free-to-play account. You won't have river hobbits, you won't have stout axes, you won't have Bjornings, I believe. Those are all things. Unless they give Bjornings to everyone. If you sign up for a VIP, you might automatically have one of these, but you don't need them until later. Just have fun and pick one of the other classes. Be a regular hobbit, right? Just play a regular hobbit. Some races can't play some classes. They've updated some things. A lot of the newer classes, like for example, river hobbits can be captains. Actually, river hobbits can be everything. They kind of made it where it was like a little bit more open for people who wanted to be a small captain. Same thing with stout axes. They gave them a lot more options. They just can't be lore masters. Explain that to me. I want to be a lore master dwarf. Dang it. They're like, no, you can't be a lore master dwarf. Dang it. All right. I really want to be a lore master dwarf. Come on, games. Come on. I'm teasing because it's like the only thing we can't do as dwarves. But anyway, let's say you want to be a man and you want to be a captain. That's a very pretty... They've got a little play button in the bottom right.
The captain is a masterful leader, a commanding presence who strengthens her allies.
Got little stories.
But she is also skilled in the
This
use of
video
arms.
is really old. You can
Her
tell.
battle
The
cries
game looks
strike
so
fear
different.
into the hearts of her enemies.
Even the
while her
ratios seem a little
allies rally
stretched
to
on
her
this video.
banners of war.
So again, that video is from the original when the game came out, so they haven't really updated those.
The age of
so
man
cool.
is fast approaching. The chosen of a higher power, men dominate the lands of Middle-earth, both west and east of the Misty Mountains. Their strength of will and prowess at arms will decide the fate of Middle-earth, whether for good or for ill.
All right, so then you click continue. Once you've chosen your class, make your name. There is a change tutorial where you can skip the tutorial. I don't know if newer accounts are going to be able to do this. There's a Before the Shadow one. This was a paid expansion. I think they made it free to everyone now. So I believe you as a new free-to-play player can choose both. You're going to have to tell me in the comments if that is the case. I think it's the case. I recommend not skipping the tutorial if it's your very first time. I would go through it. It'll help guide you through the game. Okay? So basically, choose where you're from. This will adjust, basically, you can adjust like your eye color and stuff like that. Well, usually you can. Where's the eye color adjustment? Is it on the next page now? Oh, there it is. Whoops. You click this little drop-down button over here on the side, which again, I'm kind of blocking it, so let me just move that for a second. These little drop-downs will let you get in to do all the work right here. They've actually kind of updated this quite a bit. They've given more hairstyles, I know, and options, and they've added other places you could be from, like Umbar and stuff, which is kind of cool, because then it makes a lot more sense with eye colors and skin colors, right, depending on where everyone's from. And again, pretty cool. They've done a pretty good job of keeping this game pretty darn lore accurate, too, with most things, which I appreciate. But yeah. Anyway, this is how you do it. You say create character. All right. Oh, I guess I need a name though. Randomize. So you can have it randomized names. There's a description right here of like generic good human names, but whatever. Usually randomize will give you not a name that is taken. I have had it give me a name that was taken, which was kind of hilarious. Curious if it randomized the same time as another character, right? So you click create character. Okay. Usually doesn't take quite that long, but there it is. All right, so then you're ready to start your adventure through Middle-earth. Monster Play is the PvP zone, by the way. So you can always click Monster Play here, and this is where you can create a Monster Play character. But Monster Play is something I would not recommend getting into immediately, but it is fun. So we do a Monster Play session on in our kinship. So yeah. All right. So with that, now we're going to go ahead and say enter Middle-earth. This big button right here, in case you were confused. There are technically plugins in the movie library to see movies, but just go ahead and enter Middle-earth. So you're going to see this, all right? Hello, everyone! Isn't this game dead? No! Quite the opposite, my friend. Quite the opposite. LOTRO is booming. Yes, it is. I'm sorry. I don't mean to laugh. I don't mean to laugh. No, you're okay. MK
The chance of
Mike,
brigands upon the
are
road
you
leads to
talking
captivity.
about
You
the
awaken with the
MMO
Ranger
that
Strider
Amazon
before
was
you.
going to make?
As
Because
he
that
urges
is
you to act
dead.
Quickly, you
This game's
realize
been
you
around
have
for 18
become
years,
involved
and
in
it's
matters
booming
much
right
greater
now
than
with
yourself.
a brand new servers and everything. Hello over there on Twitch too, by the way. This game is very much fine. It's we have brand new servers. They just poured in like several $100,000 getting new server banks. The game is definitely not having troubles. Yeah, so there was about, when they did transfers during the thing, for those curious, when they did transfers, I estimated there's probably around 600,000 to 1 million active players, somewhere in there. It's not that high all the time. I would say that pretty active, there's probably 250, 300,000 that are active players, like daily basis kind of thing, or within the week. But there's a lot of people who play. And just like any MMO, it kind of goes up and down, like World of Warcraft. So like a new expansion, a lot of people get on. And then like people after a few months kind of like go to another game, right? And it goes back to a moderate level and then like bounces back up, which is kind of how MMOs have always worked. And obviously, most MMOs who were struggling have died in the last 5 years. LOTRO has not. Along with Final Fantasy XIV, World of Warcraft. They're the long lasters. They've been here for a long time. Wasn't able to find a dungeon group. The dungeon group finder is not... What server are you on? And also, the dungeon finder doesn't work like World of Warcraft, where it like automates good. They need to fix that. Pretty much most people do dungeon finding through World Chat. Kind of like classic. So anyway, what I want to explain to you guys here now is some of the basics of starting your character. All right, if you have questions, I'll answer them. All right, yeah, no worries. Yeah, no, you're good. Yeah, no. So if you play on the server Glamdring or Orcrust, the populations are through the roof. In fact, so much so that on Orcrust they want people to move to other servers because it's so many people, even for the new server. The new servers can handle like 5 to 10 times more people than the previous ones could. But there's that many people on the new servers. It's kind of crazy. So there's a few things I want to teach you. The first thing is you're probably going to get in the game and it's probably not going to be adjusted correctly for your screen, okay, as a new player. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to go and hit escape, go to options. You're going to want to go to right here. And I like to play in full screen windowed mode, but let's say you'll probably just be in full screen, right, or windowed mode. You need to make sure you find your correct resolution, whether you're in windowed resolution or you're in full screen resolution. You need to make sure you choose the correct resolution, because if your character seems weird and things seem stretched, you're probably on some generic old resolution that it didn't catch whatever monitor you were on. So make sure you know you're a 1080 monitor, 14, or you're a 26 2K monitor like I'm using. Make sure you choose which one. Okay, first thing. As you go through graphics setting, once you've done that, click accept. You're going to notice, wow, everything looks so great now, right, with shapes. That's the first thing. I think some people get turned off in this game because, you know, it doesn't automate like the right correct screen, and they're like, wow, why does the game look so bad? It's like, well, you need to put the right resolution on, for one. So if that's okay, that happened to you, I understand. That's the point of this video. I'm teaching. So now, basically, I always recommend ambient light. If it's really dark, turn that all the way up. All right, ambient light is a great one to just leave on. There's nothing wrong with my monitor with just turning ambient light up. Now, if you think it's too bright, maybe it's a little bleached out from that, you know, maybe you could adjust that. Now, in full screen windowed mode, it automatically does my brightness. And so, well, I guess I can do my brightness a little bit. I've never had to change my brightness for as long as my screen is adjusted. I've always left contrast and brightness at 1. Gamma at 1 as well. So again, you could turn these up if you want to adjust it for your particular monitor to make it look brighter or darker. That's up to you. Leave however you want to do. Aliasing, again, Lord of the Rings Online, again, is a very old engine, but they have been updating graphics as they go and textures. The game is so weird because you can go to graphics and you can turn this up to ultra high graphics on a computer that's so-so, right? Versus a computer that's super good, and you will see a distinct difference on a super good computer versus a regular generic graphics card. Okay, and again, I'm not insulting anyone, but this video was for like Rise to War players. I know a lot of you play on your phones, and maybe you have a computer that's not quite the level of your epic phone, right? Like, you all get my joke, but I know that feeling. I used to not have a good computer back in the day too. I understand. But you'll have to adjust what you think. You could do presets, but you could try ultra high, see how it does. You can do Control F to kind of see your frames and check out your frames, and to see how good your frames are holding at. I'm holding at 68 to 70. The game will adjust based on your movements and looking around. Now I've got 80 and 90, 110. You can lock frames and stuff like that in the advanced one setting here. Let's see, where'd the lock frames go? I know there's a lock frames option somewhere here. There at the bottom right here. You can do a locked frames auto correct. I just let it be at highest because I have a really good monitor, so I just leave it at the top. Sync refresh rate to monitor. If you have any tearing or something, you can turn on triple buffering. Those are good settings. I always turn up, personally for me, I turn up cache size to full because it helps it run better. If you're having troubles in large crowds, you can turn down crowd quality. I like to leave it up because my computer has no issue. Another thing that I highly recommend turning off, if you notice my little guy has a little face up in the corner, which you can't see because I have my little logo over it. But you see this little face on my health bar? He's like moving. That is 3D portraits. I leave that off. And I have my special little designed logo that I put over it. But the reason I leave that off, okay, is that the older engine makes you process everybody else's around you too. So if you're in a marketplace with 40, 50 people standing there, it's processing all, it makes you lose frame rates. Your frame rates will just drop by like 15 or 20. So if you're wondering why you're having troubles with frame rates with a lot of people, turn that setting off. I recommend just kind of leaving that one off. So that's a good one to leave off. There, again, you can go through and adjust. I have one of our kinship members, they had to adjust every little detail, blob shadows, environmental shadows. They had to adjust everything for their computer because there was some weird thing happening. So you can critique this game quite extensively in graphical settings. Like, there's a lot of options. Again, for my computer, I can pretty much just max out everything. I don't really have an issue. But, again, I have this computer to do content with, so. Hello, welcome to the stream. How are you? Welcome, welcome. Any questions? Veteran World of Warcraft player over here, 9 years experience. I enjoy Tolkien stories, Lord of the Rings. Nice, very nice. You gonna check out LOTRO? WoW's a cool game, too. I like WoW, too. Recently, though, I've struggled to keep up with the game. I started a Warden and leveled up to 30. Wardens are the hardest class to play, in my opinion. Felt lost and burnout. Couldn't continue. Any tips for me? Yeah. So if you're feeling overwhelmed with the leveling experience, try to stick to the main story. Don't do all the side quests. Sometimes I think I'm a little bit of a completionist myself with quests. The game LOTRO is designed to give you lots of variety. So when you start a new character, you really always have the option of playing all over the world. Let's see. Let me bring up the world map for a second here. So, like Eriador, for example, there's tons of areas you can level up. So at basic starting levels, you can play in Breland, you could play at Ered Luin, you could play in the Shire, you could play down in Swan Fleet. There's a bunch of different locations you could play for those first 10 or 15 levels, and you don't need to do them all. You only need to do one to really level up. So I recommend with the main story, that's the fun thing. You could probably keep up with the main story and just a couple side quests here and there that are on level to keep you going. Also playing with finding a group of friends. Again, if you play on Glamdring, you're welcome to come see what we're doing. Do you have a kinship or / guild do you play with? That's always really fun. I definitely think that the easiest way to get burnt out in this game is trying to be too much of a completionist. Which again, I do. So I understand. But I think enjoying the game. Just enjoying Middle-earth, exploring locations. Just take some time to ride around and check out some different spots because the game is so huge. I mean, now, so Lord of the Rings Online, comparing, is one of the actual largest games there is, like, in landmass. Like, it's actually in the top 5 in the world of video games in general. A lot of people don't know this. It's a big map. So if you're feeling overwhelmed and stuff, make sure you're using the stable masters. They can get you around to help you. The quest tracker can help a lot too. Again, I don't have it yet because I'm not above the intro that pops up on the map. But I think that's what's so cool about it personally. But I guess some people would take that as a negative. I take it as a positive. I think it's so cool that you have so many places to explore and see of Middle Earth. But it's up there. Like the games that are larger than it are like Minecraft and No Man's Sky because they infinitely generate, right? And like it's a really, really, really big world. And like World of Warcraft is a huge game, right? It's a huge game. I think WoW is a great game too. My cousins play it a lot, and I used to play WoW as well. Even though this has been like my hardcore game my whole life. But I don't think WoW is even half the size, the physical size in landmass where you walk around. WoW is still a huge game. Don't get me wrong. This is no insult to WoW. But I'm just saying how big LOTRO is. It's a very, very big game. Very, very large. Nice catching you live. Yes, what's up, Hoax? Good to see you. I definitely don't have a good computer. That's okay, XO. I understand. Hello, elf friend. Some fellowship mates told me I need to do deeds to unlock expansions with in-game currency and spend less real money, so I went ahead and did all that once for the map. I was on it. Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, you definitely don't want to be just buying everything with real money. The game is really, this game actually does have real free-to-play to an extent, where you can actually do work stuff. There are things that are worth your money. Being a VIP, if you're enjoying the game, is worth your money. Because if you pay for the 3-month subscription, so you're paying less than $10 a month, basically, which I don't know how they have the same price after 18 years. That's impressive. But I think they make their money up through supporter packs and a couple other ways, too, that we support them as a community. But anyway, side note, it's really, the VIP is really worth it because it's a lot of convenience, a lot of less frustration. You get a lot more swift travels automatically with the stable masters around the world, the travel masters. And you get like a bunch of other little goodies, and you get like 500 LOTRO points a month and things like that for free, which is basically like $8 of their in-game currency in the LOTRO store. So there you go. You're already making back almost all the money you spent on the subscription. But again, it's really cool. I like the VIP is really worth it. A couple other things are worth it too. I have a video on the store, the LOTRO store, where I go in detail on it. It's an hour video, but I have timestamps. But I go in detail on it, and there are things that are worth your LOTRO points to buy. But really, this game pioneered free-to-play for MMOs. A lot of people don't know that. Lord of the Rings Online was one of the original first free-to-play games that was on the market. Like they pioneered it like 14, 15 years ago. It was like 3 or 4 years into the game. They started doing a free-to-play system. They've revamped that free-to-play system 2 years ago, and it's way better than it was. They got rid of some stupid paywall gaps with like currency caps and things like that. They got rid of all that. They extended how high you can go. You can go about level 95 free-to-play, which is 500 plus hours of gameplay, depending on how, unless you just rush to level 95 as best you can, then maybe not that much, but just like doing everything right on the sides. And then recently they did a big free thing they gave everyone, and I know not maybe you don't all have this, but I was trying to tell everyone in the community that unless you just found my channel, obviously doesn't really help, but they added a bunch of free stuff where you can basically have up to level 140 for free on free to play, and they gave a bunch of the expansions for free with a code. That is over, sadly. They might do it again in the future, but still. VIP kind of gives you all that anyway, up to the most recent expansion. Then you have to buy the most recent expansion or two, I believe. Thunder did all the Shire deeds in a month and had a blast. Nice, Thunder. Just exploring the Shire. That's awesome. Yeah, no, I think you're right. Yeah, World of Warcraft is a little bit more straightforward when it comes to like the map. It's like, go to this area, you quest here, go here. Where LOTRO is like, you have 6 options. Where would you like to go? And it's like, so that's where I warn people. I'm like, just follow the main story, because the main story will hold your hand. Like that it'll guide you through the world. Because if you don't follow the main story, you're gonna feel really overwhelmed, because it's gonna be a lot. And again, you as a classic World of Warcraft player here. Back in the day, LOTRO is a very standalone game. They're both tab targeting MMOs, right? They actually use different engines, even though they're similar, right? LOTRO uses an engine from something from a long time ago. You know, people used to say back in the day when LOTRO came out, oh, it's supposed to be a WoW killer, like to replace WoW, blah, blah. It never was. It was always its own standalone thing. Most people knew that. Most people who were my friends played World of Warcraft and LOTRO. Like, they switched between them all the time, depending on which expansion was out. So, like, there was a really good relationship, and there always has been, between LOTRO and World of Warcraft players. I think a lot of people don't know that. Of course, we all know we have those salty people in our communities, though, right? On both sides. Who like to cause little division things. But really, it's always been a really good thing. LOTRO and WoW have actually always kind of like sharpened iron on iron, like supporting each other as in like pushing each other to succeed more. Because a lot of stuff back in the day, LOTRO pioneered a few things that World of Warcraft then adopted 2 months later, and vice versa. World of Warcraft would do something, and then 2 months later, LOTRO would adopt it and do it into their game. So I think that's kind of interesting. Now, I don't know either the game companies would ever admit to that, but we as the players always knew that was a thing, that they were definitely watching each other. But yeah, LOTRO was always, you know, it's never been as big as World of Warcraft as a player base, but it has a big player base, and it is definitely, a lot of World of Warcraft players know what LOTRO is. Lots of them, because there is some similarities with gameplay and stuff. So it depends. You should definitely do the deeds in LOTRO, because deeds will help you with your virtue experience, and they'll give you LOTRO points for the store. You definitely, early on, you may want to do a bunch of deeds to get some LOTRO points to buy the horse skill. Saves you time, 95 LOTRO points. But keep in mind that you can also earn the horse in-game. I think it's just like level 15. But it's kind of nice to have your horse early on as well. I think they give you a free temporary 24-hour horse anyway, though, early in the game. Now, that's like a newer thing. So, anyway, technically this Strider is trying to save me from prison. Yes, it's supposed to be Aragorn. So, we'll go ahead and follow him here. So, he's telling me to run for it. Brigands! So, they're gonna do a bunch of different things.
Enough!
Alright, so basically we'll grab our gear here. So, ignore all the stuff I have from expansions in my bags, where you're only going to have one item in your bag once you right-click and pick that up. And it's going to be the bag, if I can find it, Gear Satchel. Wait a second, did I not pick it up? You've acquired Rusty Claymore. It just gave me a sword. Okay. So basically they give you a better sword. It's teaching you how to switch your item. Again, really, really basic stuff. Those little pop-ups will explain stuff to you. Also, one thing I did not explain is that if you were on a 2K monitor, you're going to have to scale things up. Let me explain that real quick for new players. Options. I recommend you go into UI settings, because it's going to be very hard to read otherwise. All right? And go down to the bottom here, and you want to scale things up. You could just scale everything up with a click of a button, right? You can just scale everything up. I personally think 1.3 looks good still on a 2K monitor. 4K, it's the UI. I'm hoping they're going to do an update for 4K. It doesn't scale super great for 4K. But I think 2K 1.3 looks great. It's big enough for me to see my skills and see stuff. To move stuff around on your screen in case you changed your resolution, Control / or the thing that's above enter, right? Brings up all these little tabs. Don't get overwhelmed. Whatever is like in the wrong place, like the radar or whatever, you can move it around on the screen. You could put it in a different place. If you'd like to move your chat around, you do not have to do Control / for that one. But once you've moved all your stuff and you're happy, where you're maybe like you want to like adjust your radar and your quest tracker, right? You want where you put your quests, right? This, and again, you could blow up your quest tracker if you want these letters to be a lot larger. You could blow that way up, right, in that same setting I just showed. Or your health bar, you could blow that up. You can also do percents in the options. There's a percent one. You can always search your options with this search bar. See? You can like search for things. And I think percents is actually in combat, isn't it? No. Trying to remember where it is. You know, percents might... Oh, there it is. It's a current max. So you can change it to percents if you like that better. I like to see my exact HP, personally. Just unless I'm in a boss fight, sometimes I need to see percents. And then once you're done setting up everything where you want, you do Control / to turn those all off. Okay? And you're set. Now, another good command that I want to teach you. First off, if you want to move your chat, you just grab General. General is where you grab it. Don't grab the other ones. You'll pull them out. Okay? You pull them out, just drop them back in. Okay? I have a whole video on this tab to set this up better. I think something that people really should do right off the bat is right-click, say Create New Tab, go to Tab, rename it. Okay? It's very customizable, but it is a little old-fashioned how they do this. Rename it to, like, I would say probably do a Fellowship Raid one and a Kinship tab if you join a Kinship. So Kinship, and then you right-click it, and you go hover filters, and make sure the one that says Kinship is the one that's checked. All right, so now if anyone chats in Kinship, you'll chat in Kinship. If you're confused chatting with people, the bubble in the bottom left here, okay, you click this bubble, you can go between Say, Fellowship, Kinship, other output channels, such as if you're in a raid, or if you want to talk in the world chat. You can't talk in the world chat until you're a little higher level, just so you know. Helps against spammers. That's basically how you switch between these tabs, all right? And then I like to make another tab, create new tab. I like to do a rename a Fellowship Raid one. So I usually just do this. I can spell it right with the, there we go, Fellowship Raid. And then I go into this. I go into, again, hover filters when you're right-clicked on it. They're different, right? You do different ones. Fellowship, check that one, and Raid. So now I know these two tabs are only going to show me Fellowship and Raid. Keep in mind, when I switch between tabs, it will memorize what you have in the bottom right. So when I'm online, if I'm on Fellowship and Raid, I probably want to have Fellowship on there. If I'm on Kinship, this bubble, I should have it on Kinship. So now if you notice, if I go between them, they kind of keep it just for that session. All of the tabs will stay the same and be here. This will automatically reset to Say when you get offline. I wish it wouldn't do that, but it does. But anyway, besides that, all the tabs will stay the same. And then you can also grab the bottom right corner. You can drag it and adjust it. And if it is too small the words for you, go back into Options, go to the chat bar, and go ahead and go to the you can window. This one's cool. You can make it black in the background if you don't want it see-through. I kind of like it black. I usually hide it behind my camera for videos, but it's easier to read. And then you can go through here and you can actually scale up. So like Fellowship, I want to scale it up to 23, right? That's the highest you can go. You can also change the color of the font, but I just leave the colors usually about the same. But now if I go over to Fellowship and I say hi. Oh, whoops. Apparently I've done something wrong. Let me look at my filters. There's no Fellowship. I do have Fellowship on. Fellowship and Raid. You are not in a Fellowship. Duh. Forgot I'd be in a Fellowship to talk in Fellowship. So let's go ahead and just update Say with the same thing. That's my bad. All right, look for Say. Go to 23, accept. Okay, so now we say, we're just going to say hi. And you can see it's much larger than the font before. It's still kind of small, but I can read it. Now, I hope that they'll make it where you can do it even more. There's certain things you can do. I just bump everything up to 23, pretty much, so it's easier to see on my 2K monitor. Now, again, if you are on a 4K monitor, you may want to play on 2K or 1080 on your bigger monitor. You can do that. It's just a little more annoying for us to have multiple screens, as you probably are aware. Do we have a couple more questions over here? Hey, thank you, by the way, Daniel Wise on Twitch for being 3 months streak. Thank you for that. I appreciate the support. Has it already been 3 months since I set that up? That's crazy. How'd that happen? I just became an affiliate with the Twitch. I'm already with YouTube. Let's see. Thanks so much for the info. Just one last thing. If I'm in the zone and want to find a quest, what's the best way to locate them? All right. Good question. So there are two things you can do. You can right-click on your radar up here, this little mini-map. I like saying mini-map, but it's called the radar. Go to, it's not here because I'm not out of the game. But if I had quests, there's a third option that will pop up that says track nearby quests. That will bring up any quest that's near you, the closest ones. Now remember, that's every quest. You can have up to 10 on your tracker. That's every quest. Then you're going to go into your map, and there's actually a quest tracker built into your map. Now, I can't show you because I'm not out of the intro, so I think I'll get on my alt account to show you this. So why don't we just switch to my main character real quick? Now that I've showed you stuff that I can show you on this random character I made. Let's go ahead and pop over to my other character real quick so I can show you what I'm talking about. If I can get it to give me the right setup here. There we go. You can do that, by the way, to organize your characters if you're someone who needs that. You click on your character, by the way, if you have multiple, and then say Enter Middle Earth. That's how you choose, but I'm sure most of you can figure that out. Zez question, is there any add-on that gives you voiceover on quests? I don't think so. I've seen someone who did something with like an AI thing, but that was more of a... I think they took the quests and put them in AI and then voiced over for their video. I think. I'm not 100% sure on that. Fun fact, I know you're talking for solo play, so I completely understand. Fun fact, I have a series on this channel called a LOTRO Tale, where I voice over all the quests of the main stories as I'm playing through. I'm not done with it. I'm still working on it. But that's one of the reasons for my channel's name, Voice of the Rings. It's actually, I do voiceovers in Lord of the Rings Online. Now, obviously, that doesn't help you if you're playing solo by yourself. I get what you're saying, so you can have it read to you while you're playing. I do not know of a mod you can put in for that, and it's not called. It's called a plugin. Right? There are some good plugins. I'm gonna make a video on my favorite plugins. I've been working on learning about plugins more. And there's some really good ones. Like Alt Inventory is a really cool one. Clock is a really cool one. It shows you what time of day it is in real life and in the game, which is something that's not normally in the game. Except you can hover this, and it always will tell you. It will tell you what time it is and what time it is in the game, but it doesn't show you. It just shows you the area of time. Like it's evening, it's morning. It doesn't show you a countdown when the next one shows up. That's what this clock does. This mod. But let me not forget the other questions. The map. Let me not get distracted. This right here. Okay. So this is the quest tracker on your map. This is how you're going to find stuff. So if I wanted to say I'm going to right click, you see track nearby quests. It's going to change all of my quests on my quest tracker to whatever is nearby. And you'll notice a little arrow shows up showing there's a quest over that way. It's 4,000 meters. That's really far away. So I have no quests on this island. As you see, I have the quest tracker on. These are all checked, meaning they're all being tracked. And there's nothing showing up on this island. So there's nothing there. So let me jump over to Corbin Valley. And suddenly, you can see there's a bunch of rings right here. Right? So that is where all my quests are on this character. And you can see when I hover them, they will flash, right? And if you want to only have one, I can get rid of a bunch by unchecking them, and then you'll know just where, like, one of them is. Like, Ally of Corp... Oh, there it is, right there, okay? That's where it is. It's in that town. These quests are all ring quests. A lot of times, sometimes they'll have one that will show you an area, right? To, like, find stuff on the ground. It'll show you, like, the general area. And most of the time, those quests, once you've collected most of the stuff, it'll turn into rings to show you exactly where they are on the map, which is very convenient. They didn't used to have that back in the day. It's such a convenience of life thing now. But, like, for example, let me show you... I have guides, by the way, on a lot of this stuff. I have, like, 300 guides on my channel on different subjects. So if you need direct guides, definitely check. This is mainly a beginner's guide and questionnaire for you guys. So let me see if I have one. Retrieve supplies from the southern. Okay, so let's try. So I can also remove all by clicking a ring and saying remove all from my quest thing. So I'll take them all off the tracker. And then let me find something that has like an AoE effect, so you guys can kind of know what we're talking about here. I'm sure I have a quest that does this. Let's see, Corbin Valley. Do I not have one that does this? It'd be kind of hilarious if I didn't actually. I thought for sure I'd have one quest. Collect prison bog captures and this one probably would be it. All right, so Real question is, where is this one from? This is bog lurkers can be found in the area. Collect. Let's see, this is level 150. This is underneath. This is the under. It's basically the Underdark, I think, is where this is supposed to be. Yeah, it is. There it is. So see down here, right here? See how it's glowing red, and if I hover it, it flashes? So that's where those bog lurkers are in the world. All right. So that's basically the best way to, like, track what quests you're doing. Those are, like, some tricks. I think that, does that answer your question, what you were asking? And I asked about the add-on with the voices. We covered that. All right. Very cool. So, again, those are some basics on that. The other reason I came on this character to show you was the tracker. That's why we came on this character. Another command that I'd like to show new players, once you have done the work of setting up your UI, you've like worked really hard and you've got them all placed where you want on the screen with your control / and everything's right where you want it, and you have your resolutions and you have your stuff set up. You probably are immediately asking, Zollin, where did you get all of these other slots, right? Like showing up here on my character. And if you notice, I actually have more behind my camera. Okay. Also, this thing in the bottom right corner is a daily gift thing. Don't use your mithril coins, but do get the free one each day. Gives you some good stuff. Hold on to them. Some of that stuff is really handy. These slots are called quick slots. And if you go into options, UI, and you go to quick slots, you'll notice here you have a couple different options. You can lock the quick slots. If you keep throwing your skills off your bar, you can lock them here. To find your skills, you go into character or C. All right. You go to, or I think skills is K, I believe. Let me see if I'm right on that. Yes. I don't know why it's K. It's for kills. So anyway, this is where you go in here and you can find your skills for your character. If you threw one off your bar by mistake, and you can't find it, this is where you'll find all of your passive skills and active skills. They're all in here for your class. And then, basically, for these quick slots, to adjust them, so you can dock them, which will, no, this does not mean you're, like, firing them or something. You are literally locking them in place. So if you notice, there's a specific spot on the screen that locks them in place. Now, I don't like that. I like to have them as close together as possible. I don't like these gaps that they do. So what I do is I use the control / to adjust them right where I want them with my mouse. You just hold the top bar when you do it, and then you do put them there, and then control / to turn it off. Okay? You can adjust their angle if you don't like them the way they are. So these two are bars 4 and 5. So if I wanted to, I could uncheck bar 5 as horizontal, and it'll be up and down. There you go. You can see I can go whoop, 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 whoop. You see how it switches? You can also, you will not see them. You have to click always show bar. Otherwise, they won't be there. So as you as a new player, you're not going to see your new bars unless you come in here and do this, okay? If you want extra bars, okay? Horizontal. Move it back into position. Okay. There, done. And again, locking the bars will put them all in a big line like this above your thing. So just keep that in mind. I think that's really helpful information. And then I'll do my skills how I like them. You can even drop items on your bar to use, and then I lock my skills. So I can't throw them off by mistake. Because normally you could grab and throw them off. So I recommend that. All right. So anyway, there's that. The other thing I wanted to show you guys that's really important, I think, for new players is a save command. You don't really need to worry about any other commands. This is the big one, okay? This is the one that will help you tremendously if you have more than one character. Once you have all your stuff set up, you can do /UI space layout, okay? It's gonna look just like that, all right? /UI layout, save, space. See what the spaces are? /UI. Space, layout, space, save, space, whatever name you want to name it. This is whatever you want to give it. I name it my character's name, Zollin, me, right? So I just name it as my main profile. So I just put Zollin, right? So you put in Zollin, and you click save, all right? And then it would save your layout. Then So I put in Zollin, and I click enter. Then another way you can do it, same exact command, is the same thing, but load. Enter. Okay? And if you notice, where did my chat box go? Back to where I had it before behind my camera. Because it just loaded my settings, right? So, again, that's really helpful because you can do that on every character then, right? Because it's saved in the system. So, I recommend doing your command of /UI save, whatever name you want to name it with the space there. You see where the spaces are, okay? Enter. And again, you can see in general, it says right here, you've saved your UI layout to your Zollin layout online, documents, queue, blah, 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 right? And then again, to load it, if you had, so for example, let me just show you the example. All right, let me mess up my screen horribly. Okay. All right, this is oh my gosh, what an absolute mess this is, you guys. It's horrible. What am I gonna do, right? Okay. /load. There you go. But they've all got thrown back. For some reason, it didn't throw back my chat bar. Not quite sure why I didn't do that, but you know, it can have little glitches there sometimes. All right, I'll just pull the chat bar back. Not the end of the world, but it did everything else. So, yeah. So that's a really good command to know. Highly recommend it. But does anyone have any other questions for me? Because if you don't, we're gonna finish up the stream here. This is just a real beginner's intro. I just wanted to put a hand out for anyone who would like to learn how to play LOTRO. And again, we're happy to help you guys in the Discord. You can join our Discord. But I really want those Rise to War players who have lost their refugees. We want you for LOTRO and for every other Lord of the Rings game. There are lots of good ones out there. And I know some of you, I've heard a lot of the Rise War players are going to try to go play Nova Wars or something, some other phone game. I get it. If you play a phone game, you want to play a phone game. That's what the time you have. I understand. I'm not going to be playing other phone games after that. I really loved Rise to War. I'm still really sad about losing that phone game. It's the first phone game I've ever actually liked in my life. Most phone games I've never liked. And I've done 375 videos on it here on the channel, so it's a little bit sad. And that's not even counting my streams. Oh no, it is counting my streams, I think. Are the newbies in your Discord? Yeah, oh yeah. We have lots of people in the Discord. So you have to. So if you join, go to thevoiceoftherings.com. Join the one that says main Voice of the Rings Discord with my link down there. It'll bring you to my social media tab on my site. And just do the first one. The Glamdring social thing is a different thing that's for leaders. Join the one that says main Voice of the Rings Discord. And that is for my whole that's my whole community here on Voice of the Rings channel. And we play many different games. It's also my kinships hub. But we have different sections in the Discord. So it's for the whole community as a whole, Voice of the Rings community, and then it's also for different communities within my community, which are LOTRO, Return to Moria, was Rise to War, Battle for Middle Earth, and all other things we do, and lore videos and replica reviews, and I do my voiceover series, things like that. So yeah, you can definitely check that out. But I do a lot of replica reviews too. I highly recommend checking out my playlists on the channel because I do keep them very organized. So if you're curious, other things I have on the channel, that's where you should go. I really try really hard to keep those playlists organized so you can kind of see a glance of all the different subjects I cover in Lord of the Rings on the channel. Every couple months I sit there and I take 3 hours and make sure everything's organized. All right, my friends. Well, anyway, I hope this helped you guys out. Thank you for being here today, everybody who is both in Twitch and YouTube. And if anyone was on Kick, I didn't see any messages from that. But again, have a great day in Middle Earth. If you want to help support the channel, throw a like and subscribe. It's free. Helps out tremendously. And we have a fun time here. My goal is you're having fun and I'm having fun. We do Voice of the Rings content here, LOTRO, Lord of the Rings, Tolkien. That's what we cover on this channel. Again, gaming channel as well. But again, I consider myself an overall Tolkien channel because I cover many subjects. I do reviews of TV shows, movies, playlists on my replicas, and then I have the voiceover series, which is kind of how I started the channel, was the voiceovers. So again, if you want to check out the LOTRO Tale series, I think I've gotten better over the years. I'm my worst critic. Everyone tells me they love it though, so I appreciate the compliments. But all right. Cheers, guys. Cheers. Before I forget, thank you to those who go a little above and beyond, my wonderful Patreons. For Martin, the hero of Khazad, Elrandor as Zollin's company, and Reb for being a royal guardian. I really appreciate that support, you guys, and my other Patreons. You guys are a blessing. Thank you so much. And thank you guys for watching. If you guys want to also support another free way, you can go follow me on Facebook and X and a bunch of those other social medias. That helps me tremendously as well. If we get to certain numbers on those, I can stream on those platforms too. So anyway, have a great day, guys. See you, Decory. Bye, guys. Have a good one. I will be back in just a few hours, maybe less. We're going to be doing some raiding tonight. I think I'm going to be streaming it, so you can come see what we're doing on Glamdry here on LOTRO. Cheers. See you guys. Stay happy. I'm at your service and your families as always. BARUK KHAZAD. Khazad, I menu.